Swift and steady.
Okay. We live, and starting soon.
Alright, I've got my Scourge on the way. Zargholl needs to get his butt in here. Oh god, I've got a big pile of stuff in my inventory from raiding.
Oh, hi, Jules. Yeah, I haven't stretched and I do need to hydrate. My posture was not great.
Oh, yeah.
I can't wait until Necro gets access to all the bone weapons that have the bone skins. So, like, Kevin is a mace. We don't have mace yet on Necro.
That would be amazing.
Oh, I didn't see you there.
Zargholl. Where are you?
We have so much.
Why is he showing ours offline now? Hey, Eve.
Hi. Speak quickly.
I wonder if you like DC. Zargholl was going to get his dailies done, and then was gonna come along, and he was like, "Cool, I got." He like DM'd me about getting his dailies done, but then like, I don't know where he is. He's showing us offline right now, so maybe he's having connection issues.
I'm at my mom's right now.
Mm-hmm.
She was released from rehab yesterday, and her insurance got canceled today.
Wow, that's good.
Yeah, when she's supposed to have like aides coming in and like, nurses and at-home PT and OT and everything. Oh yeah,
Why did her insurance get canceled?
because she didn't fill out a piece of paperwork 2 weeks ago
Oh
when
my
she was
god.
in the hospital having surgery.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and so I called my senator, and they're going to take care of it.
Oh, well that's good.
Yeah, because it's Mass Health, so it's like a state federal
Oh,
thing.
okay, okay.
Our senator is our state senator is the majority leader, so she's the most powerful person in Massachusetts. So at least she has some sway.
Sorry, I was like, yeah, no worries. Letting my PC cool off after those intense 12 minutes of getting dailies.
Oh, I didn't see you.
Hey,
there.
Zarg. Bye, Zarg. Well, if his connection is not stable, we might have to reschedule this for another night.
Yeah.
I mean, I can, like, you know, attempt to teach you guys Scourge, but Zargholl clearly knows significantly more.
I need to learn Heal Herald.
Oh,
Hi, good evening, everyone. Probably
hi.
go.
It's going okay. You know, it's going. It's Friday.
It's Friday. So you got JC, Eve, and Saria. Nice to meet you.
And who knows who else will have drop in or pop in.
Yeah, I'll get like 5 more minutes.
Okay.
Starting early, so people do wake it.
Sorry and Eve, did either of you want to be in party in the aerodrome with us?
I might be. I could get on my neck. Let's see.
Grab you. I just saw you in my. There you are.
Where is she? She is. I need to figure out who I'm gonna rename to keep my my beta character name Glam Dunk.
Glam Dunk,
So,
that's good.
yeah, I need to keep Glam Dunk, so I need to change someone to Glam Dunk. I mean, there's always DDDDDDDDX.
Yeah, you can change that one.
But I
pretty
might
fun.
delete DDDDDX and use that as like a. I don't know. I don't know who to make because I have one of every character now in an extra slot.
I know, it's
Yeah.
hard. I had a hard time deciding what to do for my extras as well. It's kind of nice to have different ones for, like if you do like World or something. Or I have a lot of
Yeah.
characters that are PvP because like you don't have to level them up to 80. We just put them in there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, yeah, I could do like another Revenant. Have more build
Yeah.
because I have the gear for it, so I don't have to get any new gear.
Noemi in the
There's so much to do.
Twitch chat says, I don't like sand. It's coarse and rough and irritating and it gets everywhere.
Anakin memes.
Oh yeah, I should probably make another call out.
Speak quickly.
Okay. Oh, great, you're here now. So I'll go ahead and have us start that instance. I actually I don't know if you're loaded all the way in, Eve.
I'm not. My internet sucks right now.
All good.
Are we expecting anyone else?
I think this is all we're gonna have. We've got some
Great.
people, at least in party and everything, it looks like.
Sure, right, so I'll get started immediately. Why not? So I have good news and bad news. Bad news first. The microphone is going to be worse than usual because I forgot something's happening tonight. Good news, you won't have to suffer through this for too long because Scourge is super simple. So we'll just storm through and get it done.
Am I gonna learn my first Alack build tonight?
Ooh,
Your first, sorry?
Alack build.
Alack.
You're super quiet. Your
Very
lack, yep,
quiet, Eve.
yep.
I don't know how to fix that.
Are you just using like your laptop mic or something?
I have headphones in.
Hmm.
The ones I usually use.
I mean, all I can think about is if like there's somewhere you can like change the positioning of the mic or anything.
You can probably boost the gain on them. Maybe. I can walk you through it if you want. But the mic might not support that, but it also may, so
These are
why
like
not?
$5 earbuds.
I have you
Sure
turned up
thing.
to 200%, and I can mostly hear you. You just are pretty quiet. Sorry, restarting the instance.
Are you on Windows?
I think so. I think Eve's on Windows.
I have so much to do.
Yeah.
If you want, there's one thing you can try.
Okay.
Go to sound settings, just type sound into search bar.
Okay.
Wait, is it Windows 11 or 10?
It's like a 2012 computer, so whatever.
Okay, amazing.
Probably 10.
It's not new.
That's good. Good news.
Yeah,
Oh, no one can hear you, exactly. Not at
I have
all.
run Guild Wars. I have to play on NVIDIA GeForce now, so I can't have add-ons or anything.
Yeah.
That's
It's like a
unfortunate.
ThinkPad. It's a Lenovo ThinkPad from the early 2010s. So.
Alright, we can try anyway. So try to open sound settings.
Yep.
On the right side, there should be like blue extra links you can click on, and one of them says Sound Control Panel.
Responsibility isn't easy.
If it's not on the right side, just scroll down. It should be there somewhere.
Okay, yeah, I clicked it.
It'll open like this small window. Switch to Recording tab on the top. In one of the things you'll see there will be green.
Yep.
Click on that, right click, and do Properties.
Oh, I think it might be using my computer mic, not my headphone mic.
Ah, okay. Change the input.
Yeah, alright.
It says
Then
camera
just-
connected to microphone array, not next to headset.
Yeah, see if you
Yeah,
can
alright, so try to right-clicking the headset and do set as default and set as default communication, both of those.
This is disconnected. I don't know how to connect it.
And did anything happen?
It is not connecting, so I think that's the problem. Is that it's just not using my mic.
Now you're even more quiet.
Right now, yeah, I can't hear a single word.
Oh my. Oh,
You will obey.
Did you manage to switch the input device?
I have so much to do.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
I had
Yep.
my mute button on for some reason.
Oh, okay. I also have you turned up to 200% and you're a little bit quiet. But
Same.
Well, I think I just talk quiet, but okay.
I can still hear you well enough with it turned up.
Basically, if you wanted to try, in the sound control panel and properties of the input device, there's sometimes in levels tab, there's like a boost settings that you can select to artificially boost the input. But not all microphones have that.
Speak quickly.
Eve, if you're able to just kind of like swap it back to however it was before, probably mess with this stuff later.
I didn't change anything.
Oh, you're louder.
I am?
Yeah.
I didn't do anything.
I don't even know, but let's get
You're just
this
speaking
part-
louder.
Okay, I'm not gonna touch a thing.
Okay.
Good. Good enough. Let's get in.
There we go. Yay. Yeah, there's a few different Scourge builds. I mean, the primary one is the DPS one, but also Heal Scourge is pretty handy these days. And there is a Condia Lac Scourge build that I have gotten sent to me before, and I think I've used it before. I don't think it's officially on the Snowcrow's website, though, right, Zargholl?
I think Alex Scourge, Alex DPS Scourge is, but no Celestial or Field versions.
There's no Heal Scourge on there?
There's a Heal Scourge, but not like Selly heal DPS Alex Scourge.
Oh, yeah. Oh, and there is the conditional Lac Scourge on there, too. Okay, cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the build I have. And my heal, Alaxter.
So is any of you completely new to Scourge? Have never seen the class? Don't know what the skills do?
I think everyone here in voice chat is at least relatively familiar. I'm not seeing any chimes in Twitch chat so far on being completely unfamiliar with Scourge.
Okay, I'll start streaming as well. 1 second. I mean, on Discord.
Yeah. And I will, I'll pop that out and bring it over into the stream if needed. Let's see. Pop that out.
Alright. It's the default. This is the default. So, the main thing about Scourge is your shades. Shades are very important, and big buttons. Okay? I'll just quickly talk through each skill and how it interacts with Life Force, because it's a little bit different than you might be used to from normal Necromancer stuff. So, your Life Force bar is a bit different. Of course, you don't use it as a second health bar and stuff, only to generate barrier and such. That's pretty obvious. One thing that isn't obvious, though, is usually all Life Force generation is in percentage. Is there a skill I can point to that is like super obvious? Yes, percent Life Force, 5% Life Force. And it's like this for basically all sources. I don't think there's any source in the game that is not percentage Life Force. So on Reaper, it's very obvious. You staying in Reaper Shroud, for example, takes away, I think, 4% Life Force right now. Who knows? 19, 15, 11, yes, 4% per second. And that's all percentage. And Harbinger Shroud is also all percentage. And you generate percentage, and you eat percentage for being in the Shroud. Scourge is different and special, because you generate percentage, but all the costs are flat Life Force costs. So, like, F3, for example, costs 2,487 Life Force, flat. What this means is that on Harbinger, let's say, how much Life Force, like the actual Life Force vitality you have, has zero impact on the entire class. It does nothing. So if you have 20k health, you have, I don't know, the appropriate amount of Life Force for that. I don't know the conversion from on top of my head. But if you have 40k on Harbinger, it makes zero difference. You have more flat Life Force technically, but it has no impact on your output, on your damage or anything. On Reaper, it's the same. It has no impact outside that you can eat more damage with your Shroud. On Scourge, it actually does have impact, because the flat costs on your skills never change. But the percentage, if you have more Life Force, the percentage is more Life Force flat. So if I have 29k health now, almost, my let's take some simple skill. Alright, my Pistol 3 generates 4% Life Force, that's 800. 800 flat, but it's still 4%. If I had less health, not 30k, but 22k.
Oh, so the
Yes.
percentage is a percentage of your max health?
Yeah, so it's percentage of your max life force, and life force depends on your health. So
Okay.
yes, if I take a pistol here, it still is 4%, but only 600 this time, not the 8 I had on this build. This build has more health. It's now 800. Still 4%, but it's technically more. And because the costs are still the same, it's 2.5k right now. If I go to lower health, it's still gonna be 2.5k. Which means the more health you have, technically, you have more life force generation, more flat life force generation, which means you can use more skills, more F skills. It's also part of the reason why building health on Scourge isn't as bad as on other necromancers. Like, the health on Harbinger is completely wasted. And not even completely wasted, it's even more than completely, because you lose percentage of it through Blight, and that's complicated. But like every 1,000 health is actually not 1,000, it's gonna be like 700 because you're losing a third of it all the time because you're Harbinger. And on Reaper, 1k health is 1k health. On Scourge, 1k health has not only more health but also more life force with more damage. Oh yeah, it gives you a bit of consideration of big harp. But nothing too crazy. That's true, good point. So on Scourge, if you ever looked into the builds, the health is not a complete waste. Okay, it's not like optimal. If you want to build damage, of course you go full damage, you don't build health, but it's not a waste. That's important to keep in mind. Which also means if you're playing Scourge, you want to have level 10 Jade Core, because it's free vitality. Free vitality means free damage. So invest in this. It's very costly. If you can't afford tier 10, just take a tier 1, it's still good. Also, reinforced armor buff increases your health,
Oh, yeah.
which increases your life force. This is the only class in the entire game that gets any damage benefit at all from reinforced armor. So make sure you have that. I mean, the difference is minimal, it's a few percent, but
Well,
it's there, and why not? It's free.
Because Spectre has expertise scaling off of vitality, so wouldn't they technically also?
No, and that's the thing. Reinforced armor is already a conversion, and conversions in this game don't feed into other conversions. So on Spectre, you gain the bonus only from your base vitality, from stats and gear and traits and all that. But anything that's already converted into vitality, like reinforced armor, doesn't get converted again.
Okay,
through
that's
the traits.
because of the way, like,
Yeah.
Necro Shroud works. It's not considered a conversion because it's just like inherent in the class. Okay, interesting.
It's inherently you just have more life force. Exactly. So, yep, and the life force is straight. It's based straight on your health and nothing else, and it doesn't really care where the health comes from. It's just funny because if you're in like a story, I think there's one story in the game that puts you at 1 health exactly or something, and you're gonna have 1 life force. You're gonna have a 100% of 1, and it's kind of weird interaction, but yes. So that's one thing about the short skills. The second one is your F1 is Manifest Sunshade. Do I have Snap to ground? I do have Snap to ground. One second. Snap. Okay. Puts a shade down. This is pretty important. Shade management is a big part of your skill ceiling, because everything else is kind of simple. Shade management is something you have to watch out for, where you put shades, how you deal with them. This is your shade. This is, by placing shades down with your F1, you control where your other F skill happen. Other F skills happen. All of them. So normally, your F2, also, you count as a shade for the purposes of like where skills take place, but not for the purposes of traits. You'll see that in a second. If you press any skill without a shade, it happens around you. and gives barrier, like, I just gave barrier to myself, anyone around me, even if I don't have a shade down. But if you put the shade down, all the skills happen also around the shade and yourself. You cannot hit more than once. You cannot hit any target more than once. So if I place a shade on someone and I also stand next to them, they'll still only get hit once. As
So
far
it's
as I know.
completely wasted putting it on your target if you're in melee range.
Yes, exactly. It's completely wasted putting on your target for
Okay.
damage purposes. If I'm
Wow.
standing next to the boss myself, I can be placing shades on totally different sides of the map, hitting different enemies. My damage wouldn't change one bit.
But you still want to
Even-
place a shade on the boss, right? Because the shade itself, like when you manifest it, does damage, right?
That's a second thing, actually. We call it shade retrigger. So the placing the shade down doesn't actually do damage. It's this hidden component that we call shade retrigger that deals the damage. And so when I place the shade down, it first places the shade, and then on all of your shades procs like a retrigger effect that deals the damage, which also means it'll deal damage around you. Wait, let me actually check this so I'm lying. I'll place shade there. Yep, I just hit the enemy.
Wow.
The
Because
damage component is completely separate from the actual
Wow.
placement.
So it really doesn't matter. Like as long as you are next to the boss, it really doesn't matter where you put
Yes.
shades. Okay.
For damage purposes,
Yeah.
yes. You should always be trying to hit enemies like all around the map with your shades to like, because all of your F skills will also happen there. Because it is not a damage increase to have more shades next to the boss. You just hit them once, no matter how many shades you have there. So always put your shades on like good places. Okay, good places. If you expect the boss to move somewhere, place a shade down per match. Or I can't speak anymore. You know what I mean, right? Place the shade down where you expect the boss to move, in case they move, so you can have the area covered already.
Or you could do things like on Matthias, you can burn ice patches.
Exactly. Perfect example. About the shade retrigger, I mentioned that portion, the damage portion effect happens always whenever you press any of your F skills. So even if the barrier doesn't say it deals damage, because it doesn't, it actually procs the shade retriggers effect, which means it'll do all the effects mentioned on your F1, which is Torment in this case.
Yeah.
If I quickly slip over to full damage, it'll also deal burning. Okay, it doesn't say. Amazing. But
on
your
mine
Torment
it
inflicts
does.
burning.
For me, I don't know why it's not showing it on yours, but on mine it shows that it gets burning and vulnerability as well.
Yeah, because that's soul reaping. Okay, I see my mistake. Yes, burning and vulnerability. So
Okay,
that's a good point.
So those and the initial damage, that like 417, just like straight power damage, and the torment, burning, and vuln, all of that applies anytime you do any shade skill.
Any shade skill at all,
Oh. Okay.
even though they doesn't say they do anything.
Okay.
I can quickly show. So that's because let's reiterate like Doomfire in Soul Reaping. Doomfire, your Shroud skill 1 inflicts burning. Shroud skill 1 is shade placement. But what they actually mean is your shade retrigger, your hidden F1 applies burning. So not only your actual F1, but your F2, F3, F4, all of them do the hidden shade retrigger, which is basically F1 again, without the placement portion, which means they will all do burning from Doomfire. And they will also all do vulnerability if you have Unyielding Blast, which also makes Shroud skill 1 inflict vulnerability. So that's really good to know. So all of your F skills are basically F1 hidden inside of them.
That's
Well,
cool.
that's good to know.
Yeah.
Do you usually planning on playing more of a DPS Scourge or a support Scourge?
Well, I think it would be cool to kind of touch on both aspects.
Both aspects.
Do you want to start with talking about... well, I guess whichever one you want to start with first.
Is it okay if I kind of mix them all together?
I think so.
Or is that going to be harder to navigate?
I mean, we can see how it goes. If people are starting to get a little confused, we can...
Okay, so, alright, let me just read through the traits real quick in case we haven't seen them or don't know what they do. Yep. They are super interchangeable. So, DPS Scourge and DPS Alacrity Scourge, their rotations are different by, I think, one button. You press one button differently, and you place shades differently. That's it. It's literally the same build, except you have a different trait to give Alacrity. So they are so similar, they might as well talk about both of them at the same time, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'll go through the traits first, so we know how this ties together, how this works. Mental Sand, nothing. You get punishments, and you are a Scourge now. Abrasive Grit, very nice for support Scourges. It costs some DPS as a trade-off, but it's nice. Whenever you grant a barrier, you remove conditions and grant might. Pretty simple. If you take this, your F3, instead of only giving barrier, also now gives might and removes conditions. Very nice. You take this even when you're playing like DPS Scourge. If you see might struggling or you need more Condic Lens, not a bad option at all. What you lose though is Fell Beacon, which increases your burning damage by 10% and gives you some expertise.
Ooh, that seems like that would be significant.
It kind of depends on how much condition damage you actually have. But yes, the 10% damage increase is like, meh, you don't do as much burning. You do a lot of burning, but like it's not your main source of damage. You do mainly torment and bleeding, so that's fine. The expertise conversion is I can show real quick how much it gives. I'm in full Celestial. Is it full? It's absolutely full Celestial. Okay. I have 59.26 conjuration. So like 80% if I look at the conditions.
Mm-hmm.
Bleeding and dormant, 80%. If I swap to Fell Beacon, I'm gonna be at
Oh yeah, that's
I just gained 4%.
But what about the 10% damage increase on burning? I mean, I guess most of your damage is torment-ish anyway?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, so it's not too bad, okay? It used to be worse. The trait also used to decrease cooldowns on your torch skills, but since they removed it, it's not too bad. Of course, if you don't need whatever Abrasive Grit gives, no reason to swap off, but just keep it in mind. It's pretty decent swap. Doesn't cost too much. The conversion is from your condition damage, which means any condition damage you have, except already converted. So from gear, if you're playing infusions, do I have any? I'm a poor fuck here. Okay, I don't have any infusions, really. But if you have like malign infusions that give condition damage, they'll also give you expertise. And it kind of adds up. I'm in Celestial, so I don't have as much Condic damage overall. If I were in full Vipers, it'll actually be more of a loss to play Fell Beacon, because I have more Condic damage to convert, right? So on Celestial, it was like 4%, so nothing too major. If I were on full Viper, like full DPS, this is actually a pretty big damage loss, but still useful. Nourishing Ashes, let's move on. Gain life for when you inflict burning and remove or corrupt wound. This is kind of not useful on any type of build. It has a 3-second ICD. It gives you infinite life force, but the builds that would want to run this already have infinite life force, like Heal Scourge, so you don't really care. These two are better. Sensage, the first minor trait. Gain concentration expertise when you have an active shade. Active shade is this little thing. 1 out of 3. Shades last, I think, 8 seconds. Whenever you place a shade, you gain these things. You can have 3 at most, including you, that's 4, but you don't count for the trait. And anytime you have at least 1, you'll gain 3 stats. Super nice, super simple. So normally, I have 84% duration. If I place a shade, it's gonna jump to 99.
Wow.
Great stuff. A lot of free stats, actually. Even my boon duration goes up by 15%. It's 15% expertise and boon duration. This is gonna be one of the main points of your rotation. Any rotation or any Scourge, basically, you always want to have at least 1 shade down to gain these bonuses. It's literally free, and whatever skills you cast and you don't have a shade down, those skills do less damage. So always have a shade down at all times. This will be pretty spammy. With Alacrity, it's gonna have 6 point something seconds cooldown and 8 seconds duration. So you basically have a second of leeway. So you'll need to get like in the habit of always spamming this skill all the time, basically.
Question.
Whenever you see a charge go up, you just use it again.
So on Thief, I had been told that like there's a trait that you get that increases your damage kind of thing, and it's like if you are a little late on getting that upped, it's okay because it will still affect your active conditions once you get those stacks up on Thief.
Yep.
Is it
This
similar
won't.
on Scourge? It won't.
No.
Okay, so if you like cast a skill that applies condies while you don't have a shade down, and then you cast a shade, the condies that were applied aren't gonna get amplified.
Yep, they're not getting the bonus, so it's just wasted potential. Exactly. Always have a shade down before you cast anything. So you'll see people like running into the fight, casting shades, or at least 1, so they can start doing damage with already the bonus active. The act of placing down the shade does some damage, but it's kind of irrelevant when you consider anything else that does like 10 times as much.
Yeah.
But yeah, super free stats, really nice. Next, Feed from Corruption, completely world oriented. You gain a lot of barrier when you corrupt boons. This is just PvP and World. It used to be a lot stronger. Thankfully, this is over. So, Statistic Ceiling, your Nefarious Favor, which is F2, now deals burning. They also nerfed this. Good thing that this is one of the traits that gave us the 49k Scourge benchmark. So, Gladness is gone, but this trait, what it does is from your F2, which usually would only do nothing, and your F1 proc, now also becomes like a damage skill. This is actually good damage. It's decent, but what's more important is that this skill has 4 seconds cooldown base, so less with Alacrity, which means you will have to spam this like all the time. It has no cast time, so this skill now becomes one of your biggest contributors to damage because you can just spam the fuck out of it for no cost. So very strong trait for DPS. Sandstorm Shroud used to be called Harbinger Shroud, but someone copyrighted that. I wonder who that was. Sandstorm Shroud. This flips your F5 back and forth into a different skill. I haven't really talked about what these skills do, so just keep in mind it just changes your F5 skill to something else more support oriented. Blood as Sand, you have a passive damage reduction. That's it. Whenever you have a shade active. Another thing, it's not damaging, please, but just have a shade active, okay? Just one more thing to pile on top of all of your boosts from having a shade. This one. Alright. Sand Savant, completely useless. It used to be kind of niche, but it's completely useless. What it does is make you, instead of having 3 shades at most at the same time, you only have 1, but it's big.
Oops, all pixels.
And yeah, and it does nothing.
Your screen is not
It's
happy.
absolutely useless.
Oh, there we go. It's back now.
Screen is not happy. Okay, I'm moving too much.
It just like turned into lots of tiny squares, but it's back now.
It happens. Yep. Rest in peace, Sun Savant. It used to be cool, now it's completely useless, so forget this trait exists. Demonic Lore. This is the main DPS trait of this entire trait line. Any torment you inflict deals 33% more damage.
Ooh,
This is huge.
Jesus.
Okay. Huge. Insane. Half of your damage is torment. It deals 33% more. What's not to love? How could it be any better? Oh, I know how. It also causes your foes to burn. Whenever you inflict torment, they also burn. Insane. Brutal.
Yeah.
Which also means, so F1, with this is like the full damage setup, your F1, not only you place Shade, the Shade does burning from Doomfire, the Shade also does Torment, baseline, and the Torment also procs Demonic Lore, which means it does burning again. And because your F2 also hidden procs F1, your F2 does all of that, but also burns the enemy for the third time because of this trait. So a lot of your damage is hidden behind pressing F2. And you look at the skill and you see burning 7 seconds, that's it. That's completely misleading. It actually burns, then it burns again from Doomfire, then it burns again because of Demonic Lore, and you proc that because it also does Torment. So, pretty insane stuff, and all that is completely hidden and invisible. I'll demonstrate real quick. Press the skill once. 3 burning stats, 1 torment, and 2 bleeding.
Huh.
Insane. Bleeding is from my sigil, I think. But yeah. And the last trait in the entire thing is what gives you alacrity. Pretty simple, it's basically Mechanist. Whenever you give barrier through a Scourge skill, you also give players alacrity. Pretty simple. Everyone following? No, am I going too fast?
I'm good.
Hope not.
How's everyone else go? Any objections? No objections.
Great. Great. So, what's your F skills? I already talked about a few of them. Place the Shade down, easy. F2 cleanses conditions. Sorry, cleanses. Converts them to wounds, even better. Your F3 gives barrier, super simple. Your F4 fears enemies around you. And your F5 is the actual shroud. Sorry, I have to trade on. This puts you into shroud. For all intents and purposes, this is your shroud ability.
Huh. Oh, like as far as for like triggering
Yep,
shroud
for triggering traits and stuff. This is your shroud skill. Yep,
traits that consider entering into shroud.
exactly.
Okay.
This is your big hitting skill. It deals a considerable amount of damage over time. It pulses 7 times. You'll torment all of them. Torment does burning. It also procs F1 again. So all those skills. So this is your big hitting skill. Little low cooldown. It's also instacast. All of these are instacast, by the way. So I can be attacking the enemy. I can just press all of these. Boom, done.
Yeah, it's very nice that those are all instacast.
Very nice. You can be rezzing an ally and still pressing all these skills. Same time. Except F1. Your F1 is the only one that has a cast time because you have to like commit to it. That kind of makes sense. It gives you a shit ton of stats.
Yeah.
Weird if that was free. Yep, and all of them do damage, even if they don't say.
And F5 converts conditions on yourself as well, which is an important part of the rotation that I'm sure you'll touch on.
Exactly. One thing to keep in mind though, these skills, mainly the support skills, have only 3 targets cap. Zero skills interrupt? Nope, not at all. These 4, except F1, F2 through 5, literally instacast. Can do anything in the meantime. To keep in mind, they have 3 targets cap, but that's 3 targets per every shade. I don't want to get into too many details because, like, shade targeting
Oh.
is a whole mess. They are super weird. They function really weirdly all over the place. So don't worry too much about it. But
Technically, you could target up to 12 players, right? Because
you
yourself
could
and 3
technically
shades?
target up to 12 players.
That's
Yep.
pretty cool.
But what this means is if you're playing support Scourge and you're supporting a party of 5 players, your F3 will only hit 3. So you actually super need to have a shade on them. Because if you have shade on the allies, it'll hit them too, as well. So if I have a shade down,
Could you technically have like a solo heal Scourge for an entire squad? for
yep,
giving
definitely.
back? That's pretty cool.
Very. But it is kind of weird how this functions because each shade has its own target cap. So if I press F3 now, it'll target 3 players around the shade and 3 players around me. What's kind of cooked about this is the shade and myself can all both target the same 3 players. And only hit them once, because I cannot hit them more than once within a skill. So if you're positioning bad, you can only hit 3 players from your subgroup, always. And just miss the other 2 completely, for no reason. It's kind of cooked.
Good to know.
It's purely proximity based. Can we stand on clump? Maybe I can show this. Yeah. Come all stand here.
Over here?
Or there, whatever. In a big clump. Yeah, like this. Perfect. So, right. So I'll do this like this. And my F3 will hit the 3 nearby nearest allies, so it won't affect this person, Zoa. Right? If I put my shade down on myself, and now use F3, ooh, it actually targeted you.
Yeah, everybody got it.
That's amazing. Let's go do something with already having barrier on. Hold up. It did? Oh, they changed this?
Did
they
I
fix
actually hit
it?
all of you. Did they fix this? Oh my god.
Test?
You are absolutely getting barrier. That's not from my F1, right? My F1 doesn't get barrier. No. Amazing. Okay, forgot I said everything. They might have fixed it up. Yeah, I'll need to go into practice tool and like test this more. Yeah, they're definitely getting barrier. It's not supposed to work like that. They should have, or they used to have, based only proximity targeting, which means they could target the same 3 people. Like, these 3 are now the closest to myself, so my own F3 would target these, and the shade F3 would also target the same 3 people because they're closest to it. But apparently that's not how it works anymore, which is lovely. But still, if you don't have a shade, it'll just hit 3 people. So if you're supporting the entire squad, you should have a shade down on the squad as well, so you can hit more than 3.
Okay.
Alright, so if you're playing DPS and you don't care about it at all, you can place shades literally anywhere as long as you're standing on the boss. You're gonna be hitting the boss. But if you're a support, you need to be placing shades down on your squad. Preferably also the boss, because why not? But your squad mainly, so you can hit them.
It's like all
Alright.
between your squad and the boss.
Yep. Well, like if I'm standing on the boss, this is the boss now. If I'm standing on the boss, I don't need to be hitting F1 on it because it'll happen around me as well, right? So I can be hitting F1 on my group. So why not? So as a
Damage
DPS,
is pretty fucking cool.
yeah, it's one of those like cast archetypes that's not really elsewhere in the game.
Yeah,
It's pretty
that's
cool.
what I find so cool about it, is there really isn't an equivalent on any other class. Like, the
I don't think there
closest
is.
thing you can get is, like, maybe
Area
pet
control.
classes. But that's still not even anywhere close to the same.
This is the reason why Scourge has been so good in Warlord's World. You just control an area.
Yeah.
You don't need to be there. You don't even need to be facing it. You don't need to be seeing it. It just happens there. This is why they nerfed the duration from 20 seconds to 8. You could have just place a shade down and just run away and still deal damage there.
Sounds like maybe I
It's
should
crazy.
be making a Scourge for World v World.
They nerfed it like 20 times in a row. It's still one of the better classes. Great. I'll go quickly over the notable traits. They're usually like shared across other specs. So,
Oh, the ones that
Plague
get
Standing.
selected up there.
Yep. I won't go through all those because that's like core necro, but only the important ones for Scourge. That's Plague Sending. First attack after entering Shroud transfers conditions from you.
Oh, and that's
Entering
how that
Shroud.
thing works.
Yep.
The Desert Shroud.
Your F5 counts as entering Shroud. And also exiting Shroud. So this effect on me, that's my Shroud as a Scourge. And it disappears after 6 seconds.
I dislike that you can't just run around in Shroud.
Yeah, it's always 6 seconds unless you trade it to be shorter. But yes, so F5 counts as entering and leaving Shroud. For this trait and any other. This is like damage increases, nothing too crazy. Soul Barbs, same thing. Gives you a buff when you enter or exit Shroud. So I got it right here, Soul Barbs, and I get it again in the moment. Oh, there it is.
Is
And I'll-
there like a set of burst skills that should be tried to be used when you hit your F5 like that? Now that because of Soul Barbs?
No,
Okay.
not at all. You're gonna have Soul Barbs all the time, 100% uptime, no matter what.
Oh, okay. So you want to aim
So,
to
yep.
be hitting it frequently enough that it's just always up. Okay.
Yeah, so I have still a few seconds left, even without Alacrity, when I can enter Shroud again, so
Oh yeah.
it's just gonna be always up.
Yeah. Okay.
Don't care about that too much. The other are like passive boost Life Force, passive boost to crit, your crit still bleeding, you have increased Condi damage, like super basic stuff. Nothing really crazy. Like, all condition builds have that. Alright. Let's talk about the rotation skills probably.
Did you want to make a quick note on the healer traits, or did you want to just do Condi?
Oh, the healer traits. These ones.
Yeah.
Full heal Scourge will run this. Oh, that's pretty cool. Okay, sure. When you're playing healer Scourge, I'll talk about the traits. Why not?
I think
First,
mainly
Mark of
about,
Evasion.
Yeah, being transfusion of the biggest
Sure.
field, probably.
Let's talk about all. These
Yeah.
was kind of interesting actually.
Thing I didn't name that one.
Mark of Evasion. You leave a blood mark when you dodge. Important thing, this gives regen. When I dodge through an enemy, so I'm not in combat. 1 second. Boom. There's a blood mark, and it gives me regen. This is your main source of regen on Heal Scourge. Dodging. It'll give regen to 5 allies around you. Not many people know this, but you should be dodging as a Heal Scourge to upkeep regen.
Oh, okay.
Definitely. Ritual of Life. When you start reviving players, it'll cast your Well of Blood, which is your heal skill, but like a small version of it to heal allies. Very simple.
Deadly Raid Squad is a deadly raid squad.
Passive healing, really small, no one cares. Life from Death. Heal allies in an area when you exit Shroud. This is kind of important, because your Shroud is your F4,
Excruciating
F5, sorry. And when I exit Shroud, now it's gonna heal allies. I'll show again. It's gonna heal when this finishes. Boom, there's a heal. Green numbers. Not bad. Last rights, your allies don't bleed out when downed. Nothing too major. Transfusion. Transfusion is big.
Go. There's your
Look what it does. Oh my god, look at that. I just moved you. What the hell? I can toss you around. Hey, oh, wait, that didn't work. Oh, there's
it has
nothing but...
internal cooldown.
Yeah, it is an internal cooldown, 5 seconds. But I can move you, and it heals you even when you're down. I just rest you without touching you. Amazing skill. Transfusion is like 90% of your healing output. I'm over exaggerating, but it's super great, super strong.
Should we be using F4
absolutely.
cooldown as well then?
So transfusion makes your F4 Garish Pillar, which normally would only fear. It makes it heal allies as well as heal down allies and pull down allies. It's really big. The healing is absolutely correct on this. It pulses every second. And it pulses for 9 seconds, I think. Can I have some alacrity, please?
Yeah, what are you?
Hold on. And it has, I think, like 10 seconds cooldown. You're gonna like have this if you press F3, sorry F4. I have it in numbers. It's kind of confusing for me. Sorry.
I have them as F2, 3, 4, like the defaults, but I still like I consider the nefarious favor like F1, and I always have to correct myself.
Yeah, same. So transfusion on heal scourge is your bread and butter. This is most of your healing. You should be pressing F4, which activates this effect all the time, off cooldown, always. Unless you really want to save it for the down teleport.
I would imagine
if
you also want to not fear something, then probably
don't
want to do that.
Sure.
But yeah.
I mean, who cares?
Yeah.
But yes, if you're saving F4 for the down pull, you're playing the Scourge wrong. You should be absolutely using this all the time, so they don't down in the first place. This heal is huge. I think on full heal build, this heals for like 1k per second all the time, 90% uptime. So insane trade.
So as a heal scourge,
Tied
you
to your
technically
F4.
want to basically be spamming all of your shroud skills off cooldown.
Oh, yep. If you're playing heal scourge, you should be absolutely spamming all of your shot skills off cooldown all the time.
Cool. Good to know.
Very easy gameplay. These all are pretty unimportant, except the last one. It's called Eternal Life. Whenever you're not in Shroud, you're gonna passively generate life force. And being not in Shroud is when your F5 is down, when it ends. I'm gonna like passively, no, it's going up. I use some skills, and it's just passively going up. This trade makes it so you have basically infinite life force all the time. You don't need to use anything else almost to literally be able to spam everything. Very cool.
Yeah.
The only variable trait in this is Fear of Death and the Vital Persistence for the heal build. Fear of Death gives you life force when you fear, and because this is super nice. So when I fear an enemy with your F4, your biggest healing skill, it'll refund all of its cost.
Oh, neat.
Yeah, I'm gonna go over here and have full life force. If I fear, I'll have full life force again. Look, it literally costs nothing.
You turn off the arena damage now.
Boom, done. This trait makes your F4 free, completely free. Not like you care too much because you have infinite life force anyway on healer,
Yeah.
but why not?
28k health right now. It's just.
Yeah, I'm in Celestial. I have 23
Yeah,
something. It's crazy.
I don't think I'm in Celestial. Yeah, I'm not, but I also have like 28k health. It's nuts after like being on my Guardian, who has like one of the lowest health pools.
Yes, me after playing hard enjoy 12k for a year.
Oh lord.
Nice change. Yeah. The second option is Vital Persistence. This gives you 20% incoming healing increase. This is only ever useful if you're tanking and you're very scared of not surviving. But why we don't ever recommend taking this is because I'm not gonna die. Look, if anyone's dying, it's not me. The Scourge will be the last person to die with the insane healing output and insane barrier and self-sustain and damage reduction from traits and I don't know what else.
Yeah.
So realistically, 20% incoming healing, you're the person who needs it the least. So not really useful to have. But if you're like new to tanking and you're afraid of failing, definitely an option. This is how the usual heal Scourge belt would look in trait-wise.
Okay.
We have Might, and can remove one barrier. We have this amazing trait which makes our Shroud give protection, and barrier, and all kinds of good stuff. And we of course have Alacrity on any barrier we do. Switch back to DPS. Right. The rotation is super simple, actually. Can be nailed down to like 5 bullet points. For DPS, you don't really care what skills you have here. This is what your bar will look like half the time. I don't know really what to say about the skills, because Scourge doesn't ever lose access to the skills. It's really nice because you can slot all kinds of utility, and not a good thing, kind of bad, kind of good. Necromancer utility skills absolutely suck ass damage-wise, so you don't really care about any of them except Blood's Power. If you're playing any sort of Condi Necro, you're always gonna have Blood's Power, and that's all you care about. Anything else, not really that useful. Mainly, this slot, Signet of Spite, currently on the website, is your free slot. Like, whatever you take there is probably gonna be more useful than Signet of Spite. It looks strong, but it doesn't really do that much damage.
Oh, okay.
So this is your free slot. Signet of Undeath is very nice passive life force generation, while in combat, so we take this for damage increase, basically. But it's pretty nice when someone dies, you can just instantly rest them. Not too bad. But you lose the damage boost for quite a while, so don't rest people. Let them rest themselves, okay? So, Scourge, a Condi Scourge rotation, or any Scourge rotation, begins with one single step, super simple, always have an F1 active, at all times, have a shade down. No matter what you're doing, always have a shade down. If you're a healer, have a shade down. If you're DPS, have a shade down. Doesn't matter where, really, not too much, always have it down, okay? That's the main thing. From the other skills, always use F5 off cooldown on any Scourge build. No matter if you're a healer or DPS, F5 always off cooldown. No exceptions. Easy.
Okay.
So F1 and F5 off cooldown. From the other three, this is where the builds start to differ. If you're a DPS Scourge, pure DPS, you're gonna be also pressing F2 off cooldown, the Fairest Favor.
Which that one has, like, with a lag, it is such a fast cooldown. You will be constantly mashing that button.
And it's a big damage button, so
Yeah, I learned very quickly, like, for the longest time, I was just not hitting it on Scourge. My DPS, everyone was always like, oh, it's so easy and whatever. And then I found out that I had someone watch my rotation and they're like, you're not hitting F2 fast enough, because I was getting all, like, caught up in everything else. So then I just focused on making sure that I was hitting F2 the second it was up every time, and my DPS, like, significantly
This is the
increased.
biggest source of damage loss in the entire build, basically, because it has such a short cooldown. There's a big difference if you press it half a second late every time, it's gonna add up, and after a minute, you find yourself you pressed it like 10 times less than the benchmark. So F2, biggest source of damage from the sorry, not biggest source of damage, but biggest source of damage you're losing usually is your F2 of cooldown. So DPS, I'll actually write it down. DPS is gonna be using F1, 2, and 5 of cooldown. Super easy.
Oh, yeah.
Alak DPS is going to be using F1 again, but F3 and 5 instead. That's the only difference. So
Ignore
like
F2 as an LA?
kind of, yeah. They're still do damage, so you can press them, but they're not crucial to your rotation, okay? But yeah, because Sand Cascade, you're gonna have a bit more life force on the Alak build. So, and this is longer cooldown, but also a bit higher cost. But yes, you will be able to fit some F2s there as well, but they're not as important because your alacrity is gated behind barrier, and F3 has barrier, so you need it to upkeep alacrity. That's it. So like the DPS build, I said it uses F1, F2, and 5 of cooldown, and I mean off cooldown, but you also sometimes might want to press F3 for the extra damage if you have enough life force and you don't know what to do with it. And on Alak, there roll flips, so you use F3, the barrier of cooldown, and sometimes if you have enough life force, you weave in some F2s. So like the other way around. Following? Don't get your F's mixed up. So 1, 2, 5 as a DPS and 1, 3, 5 as alacrity. And both of them use the 2 or 3, the other one, sometimes if you can afford it and you feel spicy to do a little bit more damage. What a phone thing. Alright, be right back.
If you're doing a lack, you just switch the last 2 trait lines to the bottom ones, right?
Yeah. Guessing probably someone came into the shop because Zarg graces us with his presence while he is at work. Yeah, then I'm sure that Zarg is going to get to talking about this within the rotation, but I know that one of the things that you want to do, and granted, when you're in a stack, this is going to be interesting because your healers are going to be cleansing you like a lot, probably. But the idea is you want to keep one stack of Blood is Power, but otherwise, like, you use it, and then you also use Plague Lands, and then you use your Shroud, like your F5, to transfer the condies. But yeah, there could be healers that cleanse those off of you before you get a chance.
I heard part of that.
I was just filling the space with the one other thing that I know about Scourge while you were busy. I was talking about the Condi transfer with Blood is Power and Plague Lands.
Yeah, alright. I'll get there eventually in case someone needs a reminder later.
Okay.
Someone asked while I was going away about the traits. Yes, if you're playing Alak, you just swap these two down. That's the only difference. If you're playing DPS, you swap these up. That's it. Oh, and for completeness sake, if you're playing healer, you use F1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 of cooldown. That's it. Just all of them. You don't really care. Let me show you why you don't care. Hold up. Do I have a dagger somewhere? Give me a dagger. Quickly swap to, like, this is kind of the heal build, right? Heal traits. I don't even have the heal gear, so I would even have more health maybe. But basically, while I'm in combat, there's like no way I'm ever gonna run out of life force. You can't technically, like, at all, even theoretically can't get rid of it fast enough. So as a healer, you just spam all of them.
Good to know.
Like nothing you can do can like, you know, you will just not run out. So might as well use all of your utility. Yeah, and that's it. Okay. DPS rotation. Or DPS gear. Do you want to talk about gear first? I think gear is simple, right?
It is. It's pretty simple, right? It's all Vipers.
Yeah, all Vipers. Yeah, some traits. So some sigils there, a rune or two.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
Torment and Bursting, the typical stuff. It's all up on the Snowcrow's website, as usual, as all Condi builds
Exactly.
are Trapper runes right now. Just as almost all Condi builds are Relic of the Fractal as well. And yeah, that's
exactly.
about it.
Yeah, I don't have the Relic of the Trapper, so I've got the I've got Tormenting. The
Relic of
Rune
Tormenting?
Rune
Oh, Rune of Tormenting.
I don't.
Yeah.
I don't
Okay.
have the Trapper.
Yeah, what would
There's
be
a
a
pretty
good
sizable
secondary?
DPS loss.
I don't
think-
have it.
You need to
Yeah.
level up crafting,
Well,
Tracy.
you're losing that DPS, but it won't break the build. So, that's up to you. I suggest you get them, though, eventually. Good alternative to Trapper, I think, is Nightmare. But basically anything you take, it's gonna be worse than Trappers. But depends how much worse. I think the second best is Nightmare. After that, no idea. Honestly. Maybe something weird. Like a Lich. But Tormenting are definitely up there. They're not the worst choice. But if you're playing Tormenting, you probably want different sigils and food.
You think Nightmare would be better?
I think they would be better. Yes.
I might have to get that.
But you might want to check the optimizer. We can look at that after the session. Do you like a double check if actually Nightmare is better or not? If you have them.
Sounds good.
And yeah, if you're playing Alacrity, you might want to take some boon duration. You actually don't need any to upkeep Alacrity, but because of the low range and 3 target cap, and it's kind of awkward, and you have a ton of
Just the
skills you have to press off cooldown. Yeah, we usually suggest like 10 to 20 boon duration.
Okay.
And also, since the boon duration is gonna most likely come from Ritualist gear, it's super nice because Ritualist gives you everything you want. Damage, boon duration, and vitality. Vitality is also nice because we're special. Yep, and you don't really care about power. So Ritualist is pretty nice stat, so if you're not feeling like 100% you're gonna make it with 0 boon duration, just take something extra. It basically costs no damage. Like running, I think a few patches back when we did the math initially, running full Trailblazer for like 2k toughness was, I think, maybe 10% damage loss. And you were immortal. And the same goes for Ritualist. If you run full Ritualist, you lose like at most 10% damage
Okay, that's not
for
much.
giving 2 times the boons. So, pretty free swap, so everyone suggest that. Otherwise, since your Alacrity generation is tied to Barrier, you can take extra Barrier skills. It has to be coming from like Scourge specialization, so no sigils, I don't know what else gives Barriers or Relics. But if it's a Scourge skill like Sand Flare, which gives Barrier, it also gives Alacrity. If it's a Scourge skill like Serpent Siphon, gives Barrier, it'll give Alacrity as well. So if you're not comfortable with the base toolkit, which doesn't include those skills, instead of taking more boon duration, you can also take extra skills and start casting those instead to pad the Alac, which is super nice. As for the rotations, The rotation for DPS and alacrity DPS is pretty simple. The base rotation revolves around switching your weapons between the Sept and Pistol, off cooldown almost, off cooldown, and using the skills. The rotation should be like the structure, the spine of it is the bones, the bread and butter is the 2 and 3 skill. You don't watch those. And it's always going to be the same pattern, and everything else ties in between them. I'll show really quickly. The base rotation, let me look at the descriptions. Blah, 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 blah. Snap. Okay. Is going to be 3-2, swap, 2-3. On pistol, you wait, you use 2 again, you wait a moment, then you use 3-2, swap, and 3-2. And you repeat this. This is the main structure. And you should never delay this structure. And 3-2 again, swap,
Ignore
and 2-3.
torch?
For now, yes. Because torch doesn't impact the base structure. When I'm talking about like this pattern of casting these the 2 and 3 skills, this never changes and should never be delayed. Well, at any circumstances, basically. So when you're playing Scourge and you want to learn the rotation, the bench rotation, you should learn this pattern first. Because everything else happens between those skills instead of auto attacks. These 2 skills, 4 skills total, Jesus, have the highest priority from your weapon. So this is gonna basically repeat forever. Just this loop back and forth between those 2 weapons and never delay. Okay? And then you start adding torch skills in between. When you cast them, when you have nothing else to do. So you first cast these skills and now the torch skills. And then you repeat. And you keep going. 3-2 again. Swap, and 2-3. And you only cast them if you have nothing else to do from the first 2. So if they come off cooldown at the same time, you first do your 2 and 3, and swap weapons, and 2 and 3, and then go. They might come. Okay, I'll act like I look. So if I were in this situation and I have torch 5, I first do 3-2, swap, do 3, and then 5. The 2 and 3 always have priority over anything else, even utility skills. Okay? This is pretty simple to understand. Is everything clear with the weapon swap rotation? Good. I shall wait a second for them to come back. They seem to always do. Great, well, welcome back. So, now, this was one plane of thinking. 2 and 3, the weapon swap off cooldown, like keep the rotation going back and forth. This was one line, one like process, one thread in your CPU, okay? The other thread, which is completely separate from this, are your F skills. They're not at all related to your weapon. And they should be happening like at the same time almost. So I would do like, and I should be pressing my F skills completely unrelated to my weapon. If you look what I'm doing right now, it has nothing to do with my weapon. They're just
off cooldown.
Completely separate. Yeah. And I'm on DPS, so I'm pressing these 2 and F1 now. But they have basically nothing to do with my weapon cooldowns. It's like second line of thinking, like second process that should be always running. You should have one process for your weapon skills, and one for your F skills. And if you manage to separate them, you already do like as much damage as you can. This is like most of the this is the complete bread and butter. The only thing that interacts between those 2 lines of skills is your F1 because it has a cast time. and it has higher priority than any of your weapon skills. So, in case you should be always, of course, casting F1 when you don't have weapon skills available instead of auto attacks. But if you do have weapon skills, but you notice your F1 disappeared, you don't have any, always F1 first before you cast anything else. Okay, but if you notice what I'm doing, I'm gonna press one F1 first, outside of combat, and then go in, press my skills, and now I'm pressing F1 again instead of auto attacks, and like I prepare it before I'm gonna swap weapons so it doesn't interfere. Okay, and now I'm gonna press another F1 when I don't have anything else to do. I'm gonna like prepare an F1 before the weapon skills again, the weapon skills first, and continue. And try to never have F1 run out. If you ever notice you don't have any shades active, you need to press your F1 first before anything else. Got that?
Mm-hmm.
Great. Now it starts piling on top of that. Okay, so we have two processes, and now it starts piling up from there. The first thing to add is Blood is Power. Big damage skill, but not as important as the first two things I said. Not as important as your F skills, not as important as weapon swapping and casting these two. Okay? The rule for Blood is Power is that whenever you press F5, and mind you, you press F5 off cooldown. Always. Whenever it lights up. No delay. Ever. But no, but always on cooldown, okay? You use Blood is Power in the few following seconds after you press F5. Okay? So, this trait, I already talked about it, your first attack after entering Shroud Transfers conditions. Okay? This effect stays on you for the entire duration of your Shroud. On DPS, the Shroud lasts 6 seconds. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and gone. And the effect of Plague Sending will stay on me the entire duration.
Okay.
So, when you press F5, off cooldown, again, biggest mistake, off cooldown, you have 6 seconds to cast Blaze Power after that.
There'll like always be at least one charge of Blood is Power when it's on, when you're pressing it.
Yeah, ideally you want to always keep one charge of Blood is Power on your bar.
It should
But
basically sync up pretty well.
Yeah, basically as soon as it hits 2, you want to be using that Blood is Power. Oh yeah, if you accidentally hit it,
Oh, wait, let me read that. Should you delay F5 if Blood is Power is on cooldown for a bit longer? No, never delay F5. If you can cast Blood is Power without F5, it'll still be good damage. But delaying F5 is bigger loss. Because of hitting Blood is Power out of turn, that's fine. It still does great damage. You cleanse yourself anyway and get wounds from that, so whatever. The transfer portion of the skill isn't that important, okay? It's way more important to press your F5 and press Blood is Power at all sometimes. If you don't transfer, that's fine. It's not like super important to transfer perfectly, but it's free, so might as well.
Yeah.
Do I wait on F5?
Yeah, plus
So
in a
there's a
stack, a
cooldown.
lot of times those are going to just get cleansed off anyway before you can even move
Yep.
them.
So when I'm doing rotation, normally, I will press F5 of cooldown, and now I have a few seconds to also press Blood is Power. Okay? And next time, I'll get to next time, I'm going to be doing my base rotation, whatever is more important, and when I press F5, I have 6 seconds to cast Blood is Power. I'm not using shades, oh my god, I suck. But it hasn't lined up yet. But if you press F5 and you have weapon skills available, weapon skills are more important. Blood is Power can come later.
So
and still transfer, okay?
would it be accurate then to say like all of your utility skills pretty much are just like lowest of the totem pole priority wise? Okay.
Except Plague Lance, because Plague Lance is broken, but that's
Okay.
another story.
And the transfer on Plague Lands
yes.
isn't super important as well, or
No. You don't really care. You just
Okay.
cleanse it, usual.
okay, it's just as long as it's casted, that's what matters.
Yeah. And what I did right now, you can kind of start casting Bless Power early. So I know my F5 is coming off cooldown, I can cast Bless Power and F5 after, or like during it, right? I fucked it up. Oh, it's cooldown. Amazing. I can start casting and do F5 during it. It's not activating because apparently it just has a cooldown, but that's
Probably
fine.
internal cooldown, yeah.
But yes, you do that only when you like know that you would otherwise delay it too often. So if I like I'm casting F5 and I know like all my skills are coming off cooldown, and instead of doing like all of my skills, and then Bless Power, which still works. But if you see the situation is going to happen, you can like precast Bless Power. Precast Bless Power, F5, and then the 2 skills, okay? But yeah, Bless Power is completely not separate. It's guided by your F5. So you watch F5 for cooldown, and around it you use Bless Power. Either slightly ahead, or in the following 6 seconds. So now it's gonna be, oh, I can start casting Bless Power first, because it was just coming up cooldown, right? When's the next time? No, I ignore this button, because my shard is not off cooldown yet.
Okay.
I wait for it, and I can cast Bless Power now, and F5.
So generally try
No
to kind
others-
of line them up.
Yeah. Generally try to line them up, but if you have other skills to cast, then cast other skills first.
Okay.
Not a priority. So like right now, I would cast Pistol 2 first, and then Bless Power. Because Pistol 2 is part of the core loop, and core loop has priority over everything else. Got it?
Mhm.
Nice. If you have a damage option as your free slot, like Second of Spite or CPC or I don't know what else is damage option, you only replace auto attacks
Okay.
for it.
Okay.
So-
no.
It's the last on your priority list.
But
all
scepter
of the
autos
weapon
are
skills are
important,
higher.
right?
Sorry?
Scepter autos are important, right?
Not really.
Okay.
It's the last
someone
thing you
told
should
me
care
that I
about.
was supposed to make sure that I finished my scepter auto chain.
Kind of. When you camped Scepter only, they were much more important. But now, not really.
Okay.
Like, using your other skills off cooldown is kind of more important than finishing the chain. But yes, the third auto in the chain does more damage, of course, obviously.
Mhm.
But when you're in the first auto, you can cancel a chain immediately. No one cares. If you're in a second auto, you might as well finish, because why not? Right? But if you have better skills to cast, like Plague Lance or whatever weapon skills, no one cares about auto attacks. So you might notice me when I'm doing the core loop. Oh, I'm so nice, wrong weapon. Yeah, I will not show Scepter autos on pistol. Well, amazing. In the core loop, doing those skills is more important than autos. So I will cancel autos for these two, and I will cancel autos for this one whenever it comes back. I cancel the auto at the end there, or when we casted the first. So yeah, you shouldn't care about autos unless you're like reaching for actual benchmark. The only thing that like, so Signal of Spite is such low value, you only replace autos with it. Sorry, you know what I mean, right?
Mm-hmm.
In place of auto attacks. And it's so low value that it is actually better to just finish the auto before you cast his, right? Because why not? It doesn't deal that much damage anyway. Same with like Bless Power. Blast Power is amazing damage, and because you have 6 seconds to use it, you might as well first finish the auto chain. Because you're gonna get the same damage anyway from Blast Power, no matter if you cast it a second earlier or not. Unless the fight is about to end, obviously. And that's basically it, actually. That's the damage calculation. I don't know what the current opener is, but it'll always be the same. You'll start with Blade Lance, because Blade Lance is actually pretty bonkers. You'll cleanse, F5, Blast Power, and use all your skills and everything else of cooldown. I don't know what I'm pressing, I'm just pressing everything. But as long as you keep the base loop going, the skills, you're gonna be doing good damage. Oh, I forgot I have seen that. Amazing. So, people say Scourge just use everything with cooldown, and they're kinda true. But at the same time, there are lines of thinking to it, and like priorities, and what off cooldown means is not like you're just pressing off cooldown. You need to watch out for your weapon swaps and prioritize them, and then watch out for shades. Look at drop the shade, that just was damage. That's the rotation for DPS Scourge. So to reiterate, oh, by the way, all this is TLDR'd on the Songforce website. So feel free to have a look, but to reiterate, always have an F1 active. It's the first bullet point. Always have an F1 out at all times. Second bullet point, kinda equal to the third one, but second bullet point, use F2 and F5 cooldown. If you're Alak, it's gonna be F3 and F5. Third bullet point, swap weapons of cooldown when I'm cast 2 and 3. And fourth bullet point is like when you enter Shroud, also cast Blast Power in the following seconds. And the final and fifth is use everything else when you have nothing better to do. When you were not doing the first 4 points. That's it.
Cool.
There's not really any set loop. The set loop is swapping weapons.
Yes, I mean
Everything else like plays around that. Yep.
3 and 2 twice on each weapon set, right?
3 and 2 twice on Scepter, and on Pistol is actually 2 and 3, and you're gonna use the 2 3 times.
Oh, okay, you do 2 again, and then you do 2, 3, and then swap.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a little bit different, but yes. It takes some getting used to because you start with different skills. So on Scepter I start with 3-2.
Okay.
And on Pistol I start with 2-3. So it's a little bit different.
Does that significantly matter?
Not really.
Okay, you could do them in the other order, it's fine. Okay.
You can. But 3-2 on Scepter is better because of cast times and stuff. But
Okay.
not too important. You can do 2-3.
I mean, probably what I would end up
want to-
doing is
Yep.
just 3-2
So it's the same on both weapons, right?
Yeah.
Makes it easier to remember.
Exactly. And then
Definitely. Not a big deal.
you fill with Torch over
You fill with Torch.
utilities, but under Shade skills in 2 and 3.
Yes.
Okay.
Is it a lot? Is it easy to follow? Everything got it?
Yeah, for me anyway. Yeah, exactly. Like this was definitely, there's a lot of different things that I learned here that do make it like where I'm like, oh yeah, okay, this is a lot more simple than I thought it was as far as like being able to pick it up. Because yeah, when I, at first I'm looking at it, I'm like, I just gotta press all of these things because people would be like, oh, you just press everything off cooldown. It's so easy. And I'm like, I need to know some priorities here, man. So yeah, it's very, very helpful.
Okay, I'll put together some makeshift Scourge build. I stole a few Harbinger items, so it's not optimal, okay? But I don't know what I'm pressing, okay? I'll take a utility for you. I'm just gonna press random skills in somewhat correct order, because I've played this class before, and see where I get. So I press F1 a few times, I do this skill of cooldown, everything else of cooldown.
We have a question.
Look, now I have to delay Blast Power.
There's a question in Twitch chat saying, should I burn Blood is Power charge early in the loop if the boss is going to die soon?
If you have nothing better to do from weapon skills, you can burn it early. Definitely, it's free damage. But also keep in mind, sir, I'm trying to do rotation at least for 2 numbers. 35. Look, I was trying to talk between 35. Not bad. Not bad.
Yeah.
Thing about Blast Power is look at the duration. It takes 30 seconds to do full damage. Okay, so this is a huge damaging skill, but takes 30 seconds.
Yeah, it's quite long.
Right? For Pistol 2, takes 7 to do all the damage. So, yes, Blast Power is definitely worth using, even without Shroud and without the transfer. It's a big damage skill. So you can like burn both of them if you're expecting the phase to end. But it takes 30 seconds. So you might not get the full duration. Be right back, actually, sorry.
Okay.
I'll finish up the thought, though. I want to say something else for that.
Oh, Twitch was buffering there, Fern? Yeah, we'll see what Zarg says about the Trail of Anguish. I kind of just, like, squiggle in place and move around. Welcome back, Zarg.
So I'll try to catch up in the chat.
All good. There was a question about the application of Trail of Anguish.
Oh, it sucks. Don't use the skill.
So what if you are really wanting to, like, you need to give stab in your subgroup? There isn't anybody else who can do it.
Okay, it's instacast. Good to know. And it applies stability behind you in this little thing.
Snail trail.
Snail trail. Exactly. So what you do is you scream at your entire squad to stand on top of each other, and then you, like a madman, start running around trying to hit them.
Yeah.
Okay, so no magic tricks.
No.
Yeah. And if you're stacked on top of each other, perfectly stacked, it might just not hit them. Unless you move. Okay, even if you do like this, I can use this. Did it hit both? I think it might have. But even then, you want to like wiggle and move across because it might not hit them otherwise. So just run around like a madman. Yeah.
Did you say wiggle?
Ziggle?
Ziggle.
Maybe.
It's kind of like the opposite of rev roads, where your allies are supposed to wiggle on the road. Instead, you're the one wiggling.
Knows a magic trick, yeah. No, there's no trick to it. Just pray for the best.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's why we don't really suggest players take this, because it's so unreliable. Like, if you're relying on having stability, and it just fails to hit you for some reason, kind of sucks, honestly.
What is the best? Okay, so on Heal Scourge, there's obviously, you'll have Signet of Undeath usually that you take, Desiccate, and then usually an open slot after that. What is the ideal trait, or excuse me, skill to take there if you don't need to take anything to handle a particular mechanic or like make movement easy?
There's really nothing much you can take. That's the thing.
Okay, so you just kind of like pick one.
So there's not a single fight in the entire game where you wouldn't want some skill for some mechanic.
Yeah, some sort of movement or CC.
Yeah,
or
so
projectile
you
block.
look at your subgroup. If you don't have a herald, you can play Trail of Anguish for some swiftness, because you're not getting swiftness otherwise.
Okay.
Okay, if you're playing anything where movement is kind of does something, immediately sounds well, right?
Yeah.
Or, well, fine, I guess the default option would be Serpent Siphon.
Okay, if there's really kind of nothing else to do.
Yeah, but there's a boon pack. It gives barrier, that means alacrity, that means might, but you don't need it.
Yeah.
And it gives regen, but you don't need it. You can dodge for regen.
Okay.
And cast your heal well for regen, so you don't need it. And Aegis, of course. But if you want Aegis, you're gonna pick it for the Aegis. But yeah, everything else like projectile destruction, you can spread fear with Epidemic. Oh, fun fact actually. I'll derail really quickly. When you're casting Epidemic, it snapshots the conditions on the enemy the moment it hits the other enemy it's spreading to. So you can cast Epidemic, and while it's flying in the air, you can cast F4 after that to transfer fear to everyone else around. Okay. From the other skills, what else is there? Boon Craft for Corrupt Boons. You can take Spectral Walk for mobility, Spectral Grasp for pulse, the usual stuff. There's Plague Signet for even more disgusting cleanse. Mobility, more life force, absolutely unnecessary. I'm just speedrunning, sorry. Bone minions to funnel more life force to your fellow necromancers. They give life force because they die. And where's Well of Corruption for more boon crafts, and Well of Power for might and combi cleanse. Yes, I'm saying it right. But it's kind of useless. But it's there if you want.
Personal stab for 1 second?
Sorry?
Is that just personal stab for 1 second?
Yes, that's just personal.
Okay.
It breaks stones. Kind of useless.
Yeah.
Imagine we had a well for stability. Am I right?
Right.
Okay.
That'd be too
The
easy.
question. Below use more region. Exactly. Which trait is that? It's blood magic, the first minor trait.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, lagging is so bad. Blood magic is mark of evasion. Mark of evasion. Lesser blood mark. When you dodge, at the end of the dodge, it leaves a staff 2 blood mark that gives region. You can upkeep permanent with this, and occasional heal well on the group.
Yeah, the like, or I guess the first major. Wait, I can never. Which ones are the major traits and which ones are the minor traits?
Major traits are the big one.
The
Big
big
ones.
the 3 select ones, right?
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, it's the first minor.
Oh, okay. I haven't done that. All right. Thanks.
Yeah, exactly. I wanted to go back to the blessed power at the end of phases.
Oh yeah.
So when you have like a shorter phase, but it's still shorter in terms of like I don't know, 30 seconds. Yeah, you might want to burn both of them soon, like
if it's
soon
within
into the
30.
fight.
Okay.
So you're gonna like use one at the start in the opener. You're gonna use whatever all of your skills, whatever, and you can burn the second one, even without the Desert Shroud. Because if the difference is you lose the puny tiny self bleeding that deals no damage, but you gain the skill itself dealing 10 seconds, dealing damage for 10 seconds longer because you cast it early, it's more damage. The transfer is really important. So, yep,
Okay.
if it means the skill itself will hit for more overall casted early. Be right back.
Okay. That's good to know too. That makes that pretty flexible there as far as not having to tie that into the Condi cleanse as much. Hi, Maggie. Oh, look at your
I'm
crazy
not
toes.
sure I quite followed the last couple sentences of conversation there.
About blood is power.
Yeah.
So it's talking about, there was a question in chat about if you should burn your additional blood is power charges if the boss is gonna die soon. And the idea is that it's got like a 30 seconds to be able to apply all of its damage. So you could burn both of them if you know it's going to be like dying within 30 seconds. It's not really a big deal if you miss out on the Condi transfer lining up with your F5.
I'm back. Exactly. To add to that, actually, if you look at the tooltip of Blast Power, it's bugged. Yeah, I think there's a bug that your expertise or like bonus consideration does not apply to self conditions, but it does apply in the tooltip or something like that. So when you look at the self bleeding from Blaze Power, it says it lasts 17 seconds, but it's gonna be actually less on yourself. Yeah, 11, 12. So if you like try to compare, like, oh, my Blaze Power deals 18,000 to the enemy and 6,000 to myself, the transfer is actually not correct. It's not. It's gonna be way less.
Okay.
So transfer
Yeah.
is less important than it seems. But the
Yeah,
skill
it took
itself
about
deals
half
amazing
my
damage.
health.
So
I let it tick out and it took away half my health, but you know it's gonna get cleared, so
Oh,
I
this
love
is fun.
healers.
you're playing Harbinger, and you're just gonna kill yourself
Oh yeah.
really quickly, really easily. Oh, I don't have Master of Corruption. That's
Swapped
why.
my harp here. How does my one of my harp has more HP than my well, I guess if you had Blight on at the same time, that's the
It's
problem.
so easy to kill yourself with
Yeah.
Harbinger. But I'm gonna do it right now.
I'm doing it to him.
1, 2, 3, 4 skills, and I'm dead. I'm straight up dead. That happens. Let me rest real quickly. Alright, any questions? You don't really talk about heal Scourge, right?
What about
No.
heal?
Holy
Nothing
moly, all I did was send conditions at it and it did like 5,000 damage per second.
I guess I do have some questions about Heal Scourge, like, weapons, because I... Like,
That's a good one.
there aren't particular, like, necro healing weapons so much. So, you know, mostly,
Yeah, that's a
usually
good
on
one.
heal classes, I'm able to be like, okay, I know what I need to do because this will do some healing, or this will do Condi Cleanse, or, you know, defensive things or whatever. But it's not quite that way on Heal Scourge. So I'm wondering, what are some different, like why would I want to use my various weapon skills on Heal Scourge other than to just DPS or CC?
Alright. Let me talk about that. Can I remove my wounds? Thank you. Quickness. So, one thing that is not changing on Scourge, on Heal Scourge, we are not running staff. Sorry if you like staff, we are not running staff. Just forget it, okay? If you play staff, it's for skins, it's for having Bifrost or whatever else. It's not good as a heal weapon.
Not exactly.
Okay.
You mean
So
that
no,
the
that's on the
staff
way.
2 isn't like the best heal skill in the game?
It's the only heal skill to craft.
Yeah.
All it does is regen. No, so yeah, staff not that great. We're at like skills.
I've got a
No,
dagger, torch, and then Warhorn as the alternate offhand. So technically
Sure.
dagger, torch,
That
dagger,
works.
Warhorn for me.
Same. What's no card then?
Yeah. So why staff is not great? It literally does nothing except gives regen, and you already have regen. What it does though is makes you unable to play better weapons. So, okay, better weapons B, offhand torch. You offhand torch. Okay, this is the only weapon we actually care about. Everything else, nothing. Okay, so offhand torch, and it only has one skill we care about as well, and that's torch 5. So yeah,
Oh,
we
because it
run
might?
all the weapons the way we do because of torch 5. It gives might, and
Okay.
might meaning, yes, 14 might, single cast, instant.
Wait, what? Just from oppressive collapse?
Yep,
It says it's per condition.
per conditions up to 7.
Oh, okay. So the condition set, and then that's how it does that much. Okay.
Exactly. Am I on my heal build? I am. So on a heal build, I have 0 might. I'm gonna walk up to the enemy. I'm gonna press F1 Torch 5 and all my skills. Oh, I have 25 might.
That's really nice, yeah. That's without
So,
even
yeah.
using Desiccate. Is Desiccate mainly for Fury then?
Yeah, sure. Exactly. You have no other
Just for free.
sources of
That's
fury anywhere in your kit
Yeah,
except
that is
Desiccate.
weird. Also, I just want to make mention of how great the icon is for Desiccate, because it looks like a skeleton going doot doot.
Okay, no, it's not, but yes. So, Torch, Desiccate, instant 25 might in the first second of the combat. Let me do like it again. Actually, it's super funny. This is like the fastest ramp up in the entire game. Let fall off. I have 0 might. 0. Walk up to the enemy. Press F1, Torch 5, Desiccate all my F skills. Oh, I didn't press Desiccate actually. 25.
Yeah, that's nuts.
I cancelled it. Amazing. but yeah, Torch is one. Torch 5 is why we run Torch. That's the only reason.
Is there a reason mine's only giving me 22 stacks?
Sorry?
Is there a reason mine's only giving me 22 stacks?
Do you have Abrasive Grit?
No.
Oh,
That's the last stacks?
Probably.
Yeah,
So-
that gives
Torch 5, Desiccate and all F skills. Instant 25.
I see on Dagger 2, it says siphon health from your healing effectiveness increases if you are bleeding, damage increases if your foe is bleeding. Does that just mean that the healing effectiveness of the health you are siphoning to yourself is increased?
Yep.
Okay.
While
it
the
doesn't actually
enemy is
do
bleeding,
anything.
so all the time.
For
Yeah,
your
so
healing.
like, let's talk about main hands. Okay, offhand is done. Offhand is Torch, always. Main hands. This is where the fun begins and ends, because all of them do nothing for you. So you can play anything you like for a main hand. We suggest Dagger. I equip one right now. And that's for personal survivability. Dagger 1 gives a shit ton of life force, but you don't need it at all because you already have infinite. So, whatever. What the Dagger 1 does, the auto attack though, is mind controls you into playing melee range. Because you think you have to auto attack to get life force. So you stay in melee range of the boss, where you should be as a healer. Okay, this is a little thing we did. Yes, if you played like Axe or Staff or Heal Scourge, you would have a tendency to stay at range, and because to be safe and stuff, and because you have ranged auto attacks. And no, we play Dagger because Dagger is melee. And we want people to stay in melee as healers, where everyone else should be, and heal the squad in melee range.
Okay, so that's the primary reason why it's listed as the main one on the Snowcro's website?
Yep.
Okay.
That's the second reason. But yes, if you notice, you definitely don't need to auto attack ever to have infinite life force. So yeah, it's purely mental games and tricks.
That's
But
funny.
from the other skills, actually, they do some things, so they're not completely useless. Life Siphon is self-healing, and self-healing only, and it heals you if the enemy, if you are bleeding. Kind of pointless, you're never gonna die anyway, and it heals only you. So, yeah, I guess you have more self-sustain on an already immortal build. Right. And Dagger 3 is Immobilize and Boon Corrupt.
Okay.
So sometimes useful. You can 9 seconds Immobilize. That's pretty huge, actually.
Yeah.
You can Immobilize Tormented Death on Solid Horror from range. 600 range. Kind of small, but still. You can Immobilize them while your teammate is pushing them away. And then fear them as well. Oh my god, so useful. But yes, Dagger is the recommended one, but it doesn't do anything really. So, from the other choices, if you want to play something else for like skins, Axe actually underrated. Axe, you basically never want to use skills 2 and 3, and you want to permanently attack on Axe, auto attack only. It deals 0 damage, but it upkeeps a lot of vulnerability on the enemy. Remove, clear, respawn. If I just auto attack on X, wait, I don't even have X. I should have one in my inventory. Hold up. So this is the second option I'd suggest actually. I swear an X. Is it an X? This is an X. Amazing. So as a heal build, you're gonna have your Unyielding Blast, your traits, which gives vulnerability on all of your F skills. Remember, all of your F skills are Shroud 1, technically. And with just X auto attacks and spamming everything from your F skills, you're gonna keep a shit ton of vul. Look, 25. Just by yourself. You never want to use 2 and 3 because they don't really do anything. But just autos and using F skills, 25 stacks. So if you ever are in a group that somehow doesn't upkeep vulnerability, you just switch to Axe and you are the solution by yourself.
Nice.
Just take care of that. Very underrated. So this is the second weapon I suggest. What else is there? Oh, pistol. This is the third thing I suggest. Pistol, the only thing it does is as a stun button. There's a... Where's my pistol? There's a stun, 1 second stun on 3.
Okay, so if a little extra CC is needed,
Extra.
you could really bring a shit ton of CC on Heal Scourge then.
Exactly. Between like Golem, Spectral Grasp, Permanent Fear basically, and the knockdown from Collapse. And you can swap to Warhorn and Pistol for like extra CC.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty lit.
Yeah, damn.
So the setups I would suggest overall are like camping the dagger and torch for the most part. Jesus, I just lost it. Dagger and torch. And have a swap ready for something. Well, maybe like more aggressive option, or you could actually camp a torch and axe for like aggressive option for perfect vulnerability, and have dagger on swap for self-healing. Okay? Or on the swap you could have Warhorn with pistol, let's say, and that would be your CC set. So you would camp this one, and then you swap when you need CC from Whale of Doom and Pistol 3. And then swap immediately back when you can. So now this is my CC set. Right? Is there anything else? Actually, I think that's basically it. The weapons are all kind of whatever. So, oh, you can use Scepter if you need Cripple for literally no reason. But sure. All of the other weapons don't really do anything. So, like offhand dagger useless, offhand focus kind of useless, and offhand Warhorn literally just 100 bonus defines bar and Sophia.
Yeah.
And personal swiftness. Wow, so good. It heals actually. People will tell you Warhorn 5 heals allies. It's kind of a lie. The healing is so small, it won't even make a difference, honestly.
Yeah.
Right?
It's like a 180 radius or something, isn't it?
Yes, it's a 180 radius. Okay, 360 on the healing, technically, but yeah, no, the healing is so small. It's not really worth like having an entire different weapon for just that. You will not notice the difference. It's better to camp Torch. Because using Torch 5 of cooldown is a big chunk of your life, so it's better to camp this than to swap for anything else. Right? I didn't talk about heal Scourge rotation. Let's do that real quick.
It has a rotation other than just F skills?
Yeah.
Desiccate?
Yeah, there's an amazing rotation. So you use Desiccate Torch 5,
Oh right.
and then you
Torch
spam
5
literally
cooldown.
everything off cooldown for the entire rest of the fight.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it. If you see a cooldown, you press it. Except of course the signet, that's for healing, like when someone downs. Everything off cooldown, including your F1.
And your heal
What
skill.
changes? You want to hit your allies with your F1 because the act of placing F1s down and give barrier. It's on the GM trait. Manifest Sunshade grants a barrier to the allies near it. So you do want to be placing your F1s on your teammates to give barrier, and of course nothing else, and hit them with everything else too. But that's it. You literally use everything else off cooldown. What you can do, of course, you can like delay Torch 5 for CC. You can delay Garish Pillar for Rest Pool. You can kind of delay F5 for the big healing at the end, but if you do that, you're gonna drop protection, so there's a trade-off. And oh yeah, definitely. In the first few seconds, I will of a fight, I suggest using your Well of Blood, your heal skill, to give some extra regeneration at the start. And then like when it comes off cooldown, you use it again, and then I can like during downtimes when I know no one is gonna die because nothing is happening, I will keep using Well of Blood to like build up regeneration buffer.
And also dodge rolling for regen?
Oh yeah, and dodge rolling. That's part of the rotation now. If you're the tank though, be careful to like not move to this with dodging, right? But sure.
Works out real well if you are tanking on VG though, because that means like because you can just dodge backwards into the wall.
If you're on the side, definitely. Oh, VG is so good with this.
Mm-hmm.
The green is coming up. All you gotta do is use your F skills.
Yeah, bunch of barrier.
People just live.
You can pull
through the
people
green.
if they get ported. It's
And yeah,
so
as
nice
it's about
for
to
VG.
pop, you. Okay, yeah. So what do you do when you actually need healing? Because I'll be right back.
And it's also honestly really comfy to, no worries, Zarg. It's also really comfy to flak kite on Sabbatha on Heal Scourge because like you just like plop your shade over on the group and you're like, all right, I'm good to go.
Yeah, it does seem like it's a really good one for that kind of thing.
And I'll usually bring a sand portal when I'm flak kiting on that too, because then you can just like drop your sand portal after she throws the flak, take a sand portal in, do desiccate, and you know, like torch 5 or something like that. Take your portal right back out, and then there you go.
Fun stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really nice. Very good. I don't know what I was saying.
I forgot as well.
When you need burst healing. Yeah.
Oh, burst healing. That's right.
Your burst healing button is your heal skill. Let me do some damage.
So just your heal skill?
Just your heal skill, basically.
Okay. Yeah. That's easy to remember.
It heals for quite a lot. I'm in Celestial. I don't have any boons or buffs or anything, and it heals.
Yeah, it's just like that was keeping my health steady during that pulse.
I mean, yeah, I don't have monk runes. I'm in like half DPS builder, right? So take it with a grain of salt. But yes, this is your main burst healing. I think it heals for like 2k per second or more.
Yeah.
When you put it down, so big heal. And because everything else should already be pulsing, like you should have Garish Pillar pulsing, and you should have barrier on them, it's enough. So this is your burst heal button.
Nice.
You can also use your Shroud F5 as a burst heal. It heals at the end due to a trait you have. But you should be casting it off cooldown for protection, so can't really control that. Any questions? Basically, it's just like there's not much to talk about, honestly.
Well, you've made a lot of things make more sense.
Mm-hmm. I'm
glad to hear that.
Yeah, I I think I'm going to be trying to play Scourge a little more often now that I kind of like know some of those things.
Well, thinking about it.
Yeah.
So, biggest mistakes you can make on while playing Scourge. Yeah, sounds good. Biggest mistakes. Always. So I don't know how to word this, but the rule: always switch your utility skills. There's not a fight in which you couldn't get more use out of something else. Okay, so like if you think like any potential time, space and time where this skill might be useful once in a billion, you know, just play it. Why not? Okay, so Scourge, this is the main strength. You have utility skills and you don't need any of them. So always switch your skills, Scourge. That's the first biggest mistake that people don't do. Don't switch skills off. Switch your skills up, okay? Second biggest mistakes. Second and third, actually, there's two. When playing DPS Scourge, not pressing your F2 enough. It doesn't amount to as much damage anymore as it used to, but it's a big damage source. Because like everything else, you will do. You won't make mistakes in pressing your weapon skills or your whatever else you're pressing, because that's pretty straightforward. But watching out for the super short F2 cooldown, it's kind of people fall there, right? That's the mistake people do. Next mistake is not using F5 of cooldown, but only using it with Blast Power. Don't do that. Like a lot of people, a lot of guides will tell you that you should always use F5 together with Blast Power. That's like the biggest misconception ever.
Okay.
Yeah, like a lot of guides actually. You go online and you watch a Scourge video and they will tell you, so you use F5 only when you're casting Blast Power. And it's super wrong. No. F5 is always off cooldown no matter what. Whenever it lights up, you press it. Blast Power is a super strong skill, but always an afterthought. When do you want to use Blast Power is not as important as using it in the first place, wherever. And definitely doesn't need to be tied up to your F5. As long as you're not like wasting charges, as long as you don't have... If you are sitting on 2 charges, just use Blast Power to get the cooldown rolling, okay? If you are not sitting on 2 charges, it doesn't matter one bit when do you use the skill.
Okay.
I think my biggest takeaway tonight is that I can prioritize the sand shades more and not feeling like I'm messing up by not doing my weapons as much because the sand shades are more important.
Mm-hmm.
I suppose, yeah.
I think I was prioritizing my weapons over my shades before when I was doing it.
They're like equal, honestly. They're like two separate lines of thinking, but they're like kind of on the same plane. Like your shade skills, your F1, 2, and 5, and 3, they're basically as important as rotating your weapon skills.
Okay.
But what I mean rotating your weapon skills is 2 and 3 and weapon swap. So if you are messing up torch skills offhand, that really doesn't matter as much.
Okay. Well, that is approximately the 2-hour mark for us, which is usually around where we wrap up. Somehow managed to always perfectly fill the 2 hours. Whenever we're like each class, when we did the Necro class, that was just overarching, and then the Reaper one, and now the Scourge one, you're like, oh, it'll be so fast. There's not much, and we filled it.
Yeah, I was getting lost.
Yeah.
Yeah, but my throat is starting to go sour and sore. Sorry, you see what I mean? I will stop speaking English and start speaking Chinglish after like an hour and a half, and that tells me that it's about time.
Yeah. Let's see. We've got a hard one coming up in January.
Hopefully I won't forget this time.
Yeah, or you'll just get surprised again. Well, at least it's not going to be on like the 1st of January, so you'll get an announcement ping again to remind you on the 1st.
Right. Any questions I missed in chat or stuff?
None that I saw that got missed.
I'm
There
not watching the stream, you know.
is a question that was asked in Chinese that I'm not going to try to pronounce. One of my friends is learning Mandarin, and so he just typed out one in chat, but without Chinese characters. I don't know what that is. Ni shu zhong wen ma. Yeah, that's probably really, really bad because I don't know how to pronounce Chinese
Yeah,
words
okay.
at all. Anyways,
Okay.
yes. Thank you. Thank you so much, Zarg, as usual, for your help and your time and just your expertise.
As always,
Yeah.
if anything else comes to mind, I'm always on Discord. I have no life, and when I'm busy doing my life, I'm still on Discord anyway.
Yeah. We have a ranger class coming up in 2 weeks that I guess I'm leading, so we'll see how that goes. Ranger is generally my main, so but I am probably not quite as well. I think Zarg, you said you were gonna try to be there as well. So
Yep.
if there's anything I
I'll be
miss,
there, why not?
you will probably fill in some details. Yeah.
Oh, I see. Yeah, I have become interested as of right now.
Oh, nice. In the
There's
event
15
thing.
people signed up.
Whoa, there's
Damn.
15 people for the ranger one?
Hell yeah.
Whew, okay.
Yeah. There's like
Ranger's
12
popular,
is
yeah.
Soul Beast and 3 are Druid, and that's it.
Yeah.
Well,
Amazing.
All right, so yeah, I mean, we're probably gonna end up having more than one ranger class. Obviously, Soul Beast is gonna take up a lot of the time, and Druid's gonna take up a good chunk of time.
The
as
rest of the
well.
time. Yeah. I don't think there's a need to talk about Untamed, really. I'm
But
sorry.
Untamed is my beloved, and we're going to talk about Untamed whether you want to or not. So
I want to know how to be an Untamed.
yeah, so I mean, granted,
Yeah,
I'm
fine.
I'm not perfect at Untamed, but there are parts about Untamed that I do like, and I honestly I miss the old build, the Fervent Force build.
Yeah.
It was so much
True.
fun. I don't understand why they got rid of it. It's not like a ton of people were playing it. Ugh. Anyways, your mom's dog is Untamed, Eve. Yeah, very true. Yeah. So, anyways, yeah. Thank you for coming and helping. Thank you for those who came and watched and hung out and asked questions and everything. And I'll be streaming on Sunday for raids. Streaming in 2 weeks for Ranger class.
Thank you so much for all the time that you give us.
Yeah.
Yo, this Sunday, there's a Snowcross stream.
Oh, yeah, there is. It's at like...
Sunday the 3rd. And
It's-
I will be there, so you will be there as well.
I'm
What
gonna
is
be
the
there.
stream?
I'm not supposed to be there.
You all will tune in. This is. I'm not asking you. I'm telling you. You will be there.
I want
Oh no!
to.
Wait. It's like, isn't it like 6 a.m.?
It's 6
Yeah,
in the
right,
morning for me.
Oh Jesus.
So on the East
Okay, you
Coast...
won't be there, but
Yeah.
you can watch the POV.
Exactly. Yeah, I know that's the thing. I keep wanting to join those streams that Hodge is doing, but they're always at 6 in the morning, and I'm like, that's never going to happen. I don't get up earlier than like 8.
Yeah, sorry everyone. I have to promote it because I will be there.
Yeah.
So-
No, it's good. Yeah.
What
Good.
is the
It's my
stream?
job.
Good to promote it too.
We'll be on Twitch.
No, like what is it?
On the sorry.
What is it?
They'll be
What
talking
is it?
about
Oh.
the upcoming like profession balance. Well, the balance changes that happened, as well as
This
the
is
upcoming
just talking.
weapons. Yeah.
It's like Snowcross official stream. Like the people who run the site are gonna be there. The community manager is gonna be there. The main people, like the heads. we're gonna be there, and we like basically talk about what changed on the website, what's new, how we can use it, and then like talk about story or balance or like depends on what's happening in the community.
Cool. Okay.
All kinds of stuff. Yep.
Well, I'm
All right.
gonna go ahead and end stream there because I need to pee really bad.
Same.
Same.
Right.
Yeah.
Take care, everyone. Goodbye.
Everyone.
Love
Good
to have
night.
you, and yeah.
Thank
See ya.
you.
Mm-hmm. Bye. And yep, bye on the stream as well. Thank you again for coming and hanging out. Thanks, Fern and Jules, for hanging out, even though you don't play Guild Wars 2. Yeah, talk to you guys later.